T-Rex arms, hilarious myth versus powerful truth. Welcome to FactSpark. Ever seen a T-Rex trying to clap or give a high five? Yeah, those tiny arms are basically the dino world's biggest punchline. For ages, we've all chuckled at the idea of the mighty tyrant lizard king with arms so small they couldn't even reach its own mouth for a quick snack. It's become a running gag, making us think these limbs were totally useless. But what if I told you everything you thought you knew about T-Rex arms was hilariously wrong? What if these useless little nubs were actually secretly ripped, and maybe, just maybe, they were the ultimate evolutionary power move? Get ready to challenge that deeply ingrained perception, because we're about to dive deep into one of history's most iconic creatures. Hold on to your hats, folks, because the joke's on us. Those T-Rex arms? Far from being limp noodles, they were actually mini powerhouses, packed with more muscle than your average gym bro on leg day. Scientists who spend their lives digging through ancient dirt have found clear evidence on T-Rex bones, like muscle scars and healed stress fractures, that these arms were seriously put to work. We're talking about limbs that took a beating, suggesting they were doing way more than just looking awkward. Ready for a jaw dropper? A full-grown T-Rex could reportedly curl a whopping 220 to 430 pounds, 100 to 195 kilograms with each bicep. That's like curling a whole human, or even two, with a single arm. Pretty wild, right? But here's where it gets hilariously relatable. For an 8-ton beast, that's only about 1.25% of its body weight. Imagine a 200-pound person flexing because they can curl a 2.5-pound laptop. Suddenly, the T-Rex isn't quite the Arnold Schwarzenegger of the Cretaceous, is it? So while they definitely win an arm wrestle against you, they were surprisingly weak for a creature of their colossal size. This weird paradox is exactly what makes them so fascinating. So if they weren't just for show, what were these little power stumps for? This is where paleontologists get to play detective, and trust me, they've cooked up more theories than a T-Rex has, well, teeth. It's like a prehistoric whodunit, with tiny arms as the main suspect. One popular idea suggests they were for grabbing struggling prey. Picture this, a T-Rex wrestling a giant dino, and those arms are there to hold on for dear life. The healed fractures on their bones kinda back this up, but here's the plot twist. Baby T-Rexes actually had longer arms, so maybe it was more of a kid's job before their jaws became the ultimate bone-crushing machines. Plus, some folks argue, how do you grab a giant dino with arms that short anyway? Then there's the slashing theory, championed by paleontologist Stephen Stanley. He suggests those 3-foot arms, with their crescent-shaped talons and unusual mobility, were perfect for quick, devastating slashes in close combat. Imagine a T-Rex already biting down, then swish, a quick, nasty cut. Stanley says the short length was actually a benefit for precision, but other experts are like, hold on, wouldn't that mean the T-Rex has to awkwardly hug its victim with its chest? Good point. Most agree the jaws were the real star of the show. What about something less dramatic? Maybe they were just for helping the T-Rex get up after a nice nap. Imagine an 8-ton beast trying to get off the ground. Those strong arms could give a serious push, like you pushing off the arms of your favorite armchair. It might not be the sexiest theory, but hey, a dino's gotta get up. And then there's the classic, slightly awkward theory from the paleontologist who named the T-Rex, Henry Fairfield Osborn. Mating. He thought the males used them to, hold on to their dates. But let's be real. With arms only about 27 inches apart and not strong enough to control a 3-ton female, that sounds less like a romantic embrace and more like a very clumsy hug. Plus, no difference in arm size between males and females? Yeah, this theory mostly gets a chuckle from modern scientists. And for the truly wild ideas, picking teeth, if a T-Rex could somehow lower its massive head, maybe those stubby, 2-clawed hands were the ultimate prehistoric toothpick. Fun to imagine, but probably not why evolution kept them around. The fact that scientists are still debating this shows how complex it is to infer behavior from fossils. It's a dynamic puzzle, and that's what makes paleontology so exciting. Okay, so we know they were strong, and maybe had a few jods. But the real head-scratcher is, why did they get so hilariously short in the first place? This is where evolution gets super clever, and the theories are pretty mind-blowing. One leading theory, from paleontologist Kevin Padian, is pure genius. A defensive strategy. Imagine a T-Rex potluck, but with razor-sharp teeth and bone-crushing jaws. When multiple T-Rexes are tearing into a carcass, those massive heads are flying everywhere. Longer arms would be like waving a giant "bite me" sign. So by shrinking them, T-Rexes basically tucked their vulnerable limbs out of harm's way. It's like a prehistoric mosh pit, where short arms mean fewer accidental amputations. Smart, right? Another powerful idea is the bigger head, stronger bite trade-off. The T-Rex's main weapon was its jaw, capable of an astonishing 8,000-pound bite force. Evolution is all about optimizing. By making the arms smaller, the T-Rex could pour more resources into building an even bigger, more powerful skull and neck. It's like a superhero deciding to supercharge their main superpower by ditching less effective gadgets. And get this, baby T-Rexes had proportionately longer arms. As they grew, their jaws became the ultimate weapon, and those arms just proportionately shrunk, becoming specialized for whatever secondary roles they had. Evolution, you sly dog. Here's a fun twist. T-Rex wasn't the only dino rocking the tiny-armed big bite look. This trait actually popped up multiple times in different giant predators, a phenomenon scientists call convergent evolution. It's like evolution found a really good idea and decided to use it again and again. This means those short arms weren't just a random fluke. They were a successful strategy. Take Allosaurus, an earlier big predator. It had longer, more powerful arms with hooked talons. It likely used these for grappling prey because its bite wasn't quite the bone crusher T-Rex had. Different strokes for different folks, or in this case, different dinos. Then there's Carnotaurus, whose arms make the T-Rexes look positively buff. Carnotaurus's arms were even wimpier, with tiny hands and 4 fingers. Some paleontologists joke they might have been for high-speed turning, or maybe even a feathered mating dance. Talk about a fashion statement. And recent discoveries like Meraxes gigas and Giganotosaurus show this pattern again. Huge bodies, tiny arms. Giganotosaurus was faster than T-Rex, but had a weaker bite, so maybe its arms were for quick slashes rather than crushing. It just goes to show the prehistoric world was full of surprising adaptations. So the next time someone cracks a joke about T-Rex's tiny arms, you can confidently tell them, think again. These weren't useless nubs. They were strong, robust, and likely played a fascinating role in the life of the tyrant lizard king. The exact how and why is still a thrilling mystery for paleontologists. But that's the beauty of science, always more to discover, regardless of its arm-wrestling prowess. The T-Rex remains one of the most incredible predators to ever walk the earth. Its bone-crushing bite, powerful legs, and sharp senses made it a true prehistoric superstar. Those tiny arms? Just another quirky, yet surprisingly powerful piece of its amazing story. What do you think T-Rex used its arms for? Let us know in the comments below. If you had a blast learning something new, hit that like button, share this video with your fellow animal lovers, and subscribe to FactSpark for more mind-blowing facts about the natural world.